Whoa. Hello, hey, come on
Hi,
in.
Hi.
We're in the kitchen in July. It's at your best you. Come on in. I know you have some time to take your weight off your feet and sit down.
Yep.
I'm Reverend Dr. Kathleen Kennedy.
And I'm Joan Kazmarzik, your co-host.
Well, I guess that kind of says that I'm the host, so.
Yeah, it does.
Tease.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm here in the kitchen. I've got Ruby and Crystal with me as well. And I don't know. Does this place look familiar to you?
Should.
I don't know. I feel like I might have been here before.
Could be. Very well could be.
Deja vu.
Little
right?
deja vu. Huh?
Deja vu. So deja vu and karma and chakra 3, which is your luscious gem. So did you know you're luscious? Did you know you're luscious? No, really, did you know that you're luscious?
Yeah, you have to know that.
So, with this whole thing that we're talking about with the self-care and the self-love, many who know me, I've been on this for, oh goodness gracious, like 15, 20 years. But that was because of the journey that I took with cancer. And if you want to check that out, it's Under Thunder Mountain. It's on eKindle Books, and I'm working on book 3 right now. So I hope to get that released this year, and hopefully you'll be interested in checking that out too. So, self-love and self-care, chakra 3. I guess if you don't know you're a luscious gem, and you don't have your chakra 1 and 2 of your, self-worth and your value formed,
Yeah.
then maybe you have a hard time with self-love and self-care. I think it's one of the difficulties that we have in our society, and particularly from my generation. I wouldn't say necessarily the young people are lacking the capacity to do the self-love and self-care. I think they're doing it more and more.
Well, I think they've been brought up on it too, because it really hit the mainstream.
Well, I take some credit for that.
Of course. But I'm saying it hit the mainstream, and the younger people have been brought up with that concept.
Right.
Where not necessarily.
No, I wasn't brought up
We
with
weren't
any
brought.
concept
We
of
weren't
that.
brought up with that.
Not at all.
So
I
it's
mean,
something
did
that
your parents teach you self-love and self-care?
no.
Was there anything around us that said anything about self-love and self-care?
No, not at all.
So, you see, we learn and we grow, but then
Right.
we forget. And so, have I been here before? Why do I know this place?
Right.
What is it about, that we all, I got Ruby here, so I was trying to squeeze him in, that we all, that we all experience at one point or another in our life.
Yeah.
And it's they call it like it's a phenomenon or something, but I think it's actually a reality. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
And within our chakra systems themselves, the 1 through 7, each one of them has their own karma, so to speak. You know the simple rule of karma, which is simple, universal. What you put out
Is what you're going to
is
get
what
back.
you're going to get back. That's karma. That's just regular old karma.
Straightforward karma.
Yeah. So, but then we have all different levels of the karma, and we start to think of, is this my future self and my past self? Does the soul just end when this body ends, or does the soul re-inhabit another body and come back completing? Because we've noticed, I know I'm not the only one, that every generation of children know more.
Oh yeah.
They know more than
Oh,
we
yeah.
do sometimes.
Yeah.
There you go. How is
At
that
younger
possible?
ages too.
Well, it could be. It's I don't know. It's really hard to figure this out.
Yeah.
But we do know the simplicity of it, of course, is that what you give out is what you're going to get.
To get back.
Okay. And it may not be from the same source pool. So you say, well, I don't know, I was so nice to that person and they were nothing but this to me. Well, that's okay. I'm sure
That's
you're going to
okay.
be blessed by a really lovely soul along the way if you were genuine and your intentions were pure and kind.
Right.
You know, Spirit doesn't miss a trick. Never, never, never. The Manipura, that's the, here, right here, it's our solar plexus, yellow. It's the sun, it's our vital life. So certainly, to keep a vital life involves a certain amount of something within us. Oh, I don't know, they lost their will to live. There's no reason other than that. I don't know why they died.
Yeah.
But they lost their will. Manipura, that's the chakra 3, our will. And our will tells us, you can do it. Okay, remember I told you in chakra 1 and 2, you've got a created form. Now it's matter, right? It's been created.
Yeah.
And now it wants to move.
Yep.
Locomote, chakra 2. Chakra 3 is transformation. Okay. Now that I've locomoted, and as I was saying to Joe, the little one will say, I want to touch that flame. I'm locomoting over there. But the parent has to teach the child, well, the flame's going to hurt you. So, you know, this transformative place of growing is a constant. We don't always know what's going to hurt us.
True. Very true.
But we put ourselves out there and risk. That's a healthy chakra 3. Okay. If it's not healthy, it's going to avoid. It's going to it won't be strong enough to say, I can go ahead and
I can do this.
I can take
try.
this risk,
Yeah.
whatever the risk is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and apply to go to a school. Well, it's going to be risky because it's going to cost money. It's going to take a lot of time to do the applications, whatever. You know what I'm saying. It's just about applying it to your specific situation. But you know, it's that magical transformation place. You watch a butterfly, you know, it seems to just kind of be a little caterpillar,
Yeah.
and then it goes into its cocoon, and it isolates itself, and it comes out a butterfly. But the ladybug doesn't do it that way. They're carnivores. They're like, they come out, they're like, oh, there's some who didn't come out, bye.
Oops.
You know, and then they become a beetle, and then they shed that shell, and they keep eating, and then they keep, you know, eventually, right? I say it thus because I'm wearing a
Oh, have you got your ladybug on?
Little ladybug. Let's see if you can see her.
They're very good for the garden too.
Ladybug's here. Pretty, right?
That is pretty.
See if I get a better angle. There you go. Pretty, right?
Extreme.
ladybug. So, you know, transformative energy, chakra 3. It's the liaison, it's a mediator. You've got chakra 1, like I said, and chakra 2, but you know, the thing is that we've also got chakra 7, and chakra 6,
Yeah.
and chakra 5, and chakra 4. So, you know, we've got the heart in between all of them, but everything's going to rise up. And in order to make healthy decisions, our I know comes down, and they come and they blend together, and they create a pool
Meet in the middle.
of wisdom, you know, from which we can feel our personal power and our ability to, you know, self-care and self-love. So I said, you know, ask yourself this question. Do I like myself? I mean, you ask yourself that. Have you ever asked yourself, hey, do I really like myself? How about, do I really love myself? Okay. These are questions, you know, only you know, unto thine own self be true. See, so you can't deceive yourself. You can try self-deception, but it won't work. Because in the nighttime when you're sleeping, another part of your being wakes up and says, hey, you,
What do you think you're doing?
remember? No, we're a society that we want to forget. We like to do things many, many times. I think we're like the ladybug, you know? Whatever it takes. the human being, you know, the art of being a human being, to be here, one, I'm here, to feel, water, two, right? I feel things.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what to do with these feelings yet because I haven't evolved, right? And even when we have evolved, something comes along in life, and say, for example, you meet somebody and they stir up all these feelings. Nobody ever did that to you before. Oh, this person is almost lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if I'm around them, I may lose myself, or something could very much happen. Probably not. That's probably an unhealthy chakra 3, where fear is ruling, because that is one of the signs of 3 is off. Well, if 3 is off, what did I tell you about 1 and 2?
And then they have to be reworked, that they're not strong.
Well, yeah, we want to then go back and kind of check that growth out.
Yeah.
And that's that self-reflective energy, hard, because a lot of people say they don't have time. But then I think there comes a time in your life when you start to ask yourself, wait a second, what did I do with that time? Wait, I thought life was, you know, about this, and now I'm finding out it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's like, what I use my time. Well, you know, I trade, as Johnny Depp said in Lone Ranger. I trade. You know. So the third chakra is like to act. You know, I'm strong enough to say I'm going to take the risk and go out west, and I don't know what's out there, but I know that what was here was going to kill me, so I have to run. Boy, that's risky.
Yeah,
We
very much
get
so.
really, I know because I've known a lot of runners in my life, and I'm not generally a runner, but if you have to run for your life, you've got to run for your life. Period. I don't know any other, you could stay there and freeze, but
Right.
you're probably not going to make it.
Right.
You could try to fight, but it's hard to fight a big system.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's a losing battle, but, you know, you want to live. So anyway,
Very true. Very
that
true.
takes a lot of a healthy chakra 3. And even though people around you may be ridiculing you and saying, you know, causing you to doubt yourself, or what do they call that? Gaslighting you, you know, making you think that what you're thinking isn't real. Okay. We have all these new terms, but they're from old places. So we recycle, you know. We see that right now in our major history going on in our society, what's going on, you know. We're in this huge cultural reset that the general population has, I would say, very little control over, you know. The power has come, as always, to rest in the few, and the many, you know, have to trust their gods to help them to move their way through. And then there's revolutions, and then there's times God intervenes, and angels and spirit protectors, you know, depending upon your walks and your belief systems. I believe anything's possible. As I said in my book 15 years ago, Marianne, take impossible, she took it to I am possible. So, you know, again, you know,
And that's that taking the leap.
it's, yeah, the being able to trust that, you know, you're being guided by greater being. You're not just, you know, shooting from the hip.
Right.
You know, everything is consciously being step by step, even though it may look like crazy to someone else.
Right.
If within yourself, you know you're aligned and you've breathed through it and you've connected with your source, and now you can direct yourself to move. And it may not be with the tide. You may go parallel and get out of that crazy thing that pulls you down or pulls you out of course, you know?
Yeah.
So, so when you get to this place where you can kind of restructure the way you think up here, because you have this transformative space down here. So the flow, the more less like, think about your heart and your arteries and your veins. If you eat a lot of cholesterol, you're going to clog your veins and your arteries, and your blood isn't going to flow properly. And once your blood isn't flowing properly, your body isn't going to perform properly. Your mind isn't going to perform properly. Depending upon how long you treat that chakra 3, because that's your stomach, what you feed it, you know, your body and your mind are going to respond accordingly. So, you know, you can pick your poisons, right? But, you know, be careful what you pick.
Yeah.
Because then you want to, in order to stay in that homeostasis, Goldilocks zone, you want to then counterbalance whatever, you know, toxicity with something that's going to cleanse or balance that, you know, acidic, alkaline, you know, or you don't, but you'll learn if you want to. So, yeah, chakra 3. I'm covering my notes pretty quickly for everyone because I think it's a fairly simple concept, and with all truth and honesty, I know that you already know it in your bones. I know that everything that I've been bringing up over the past 15 years now is I am just an excavator. I always called, I'm a Phoenix Rising yoga therapist, and I used to call it, I had a company that I started, you know, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I start a lot of things. You never know what's going to work, you know. But I started a company called Liberating Life, Lighten Up and Let Go about 25 years ago, and boy was that ahead of its time. Yeah, it was, you know, yoga and for a woman who wasn't a beanpole, because during my time when I was certified, and I'm a professionally certified yoga instructor, you had to have a certain body, which I didn't have and I still don't have, you know. So it's, you know, it didn't fit the mold of that, yet that's what I felt called to do. So
Yeah.
I did do that, and you know, it's interesting to see how even something as simple as that, lighten up,
Yeah.
let go, you know, 25 years ago. So we have this within us that we know, and I'd say back then, what I'm doing is an archaeology of your soul, so to speak, as a yoga therapist, you know. And I would work with you and mirror and talk dialogues, but opening up the chakras of awareness when you hear yourself and what's going on, and suddenly you have this aha, and there's a big self kind of empowering energy that comes from somebody awakening something that's within you. It's there, okay?
It's just hiding.
Generally, that's what I find with people. I mean, I even work with you. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, but it's this sense of within you is this raw, you know, beautiful, colorful center of vital life energy that we were denied in my generation. We were not given that information, that anything. I mean, I remember Siddhartha in high school and Herman Hesse in high school. So I started yoga then. But what an odd duck, you know. I was odder even then, you know. So
That was, and for me, living, you know, going to a different school, and we never even heard of it.
exactly. So I
We
mean,
just never heard of it.
and you would not have.
No.
I mean, even when I came back and was working with things with you, you know, changing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you can tell them how hard it is, you know,
Yeah.
when you're stubbornly set with a paradigm. But you can reassure the audience that
It can be, you can change. It can change.
it takes time,
It
though.
takes time.
And
It
what
takes
would be
time.
the counsel, having gone through it the rough way? How would you tell someone to go through it easier, Joan? Because she was not easy, you know. It's like you have a non-compliant, but you're kind of like, you will comply, you know. But I don't want to do that, you know. So it'd be like I keep coming in love and light, you know. Here's some more wonderful data for you to digest, you know. But remember to love yourself through it. So, but yeah. So that's what I see myself as mostly, and pretty much any setting I can walk in and do that now. read what's going on and, and be able to kind of help to facilitate change more than anything as a catalyst. I'm a change agent.
I think, yeah, I really think that people now are a little more open to it too, because of the change.
It
change in the
depends.
time. No, some people, you're right. I mean, some
It
people.
really does depend.
It
I'm
does.
not talking about being open to New Age. I'm just talking about being open to anything other than what you've been programmed to believe.
That's a tough thing for people to take.
But what a beautiful thing is on the other end of it, because you know what I was programmed to believe? I was programmed to believe that nothing was really that possible, and that I couldn't even get a degree, or that I couldn't even be smart, or that I couldn't dance, or that I couldn't do anything. Actually, I couldn't even read. I kept getting programmed to the point where I believed what the people that were the primary programmers in my life told me about myself.
That's
Life.
I know. I agree. I know.
I'm not alone.
No, you're not.
What one adult may think is humorous, that child that's now an evolved being and a soul that you're only on borrow for, it's not really your child. It belongs to the Creator.
Right.
And you're being given the responsibility and the trust to raise this beautiful soul into an even more beautiful being. Not to pull it through the web of the chaos of the crazy
Right.
and make it into another one of the,
Right.
So that's a challenge and a rise for any parent, because the first thing that they're going to say to me is, well, you don't know, So, the interesting thing about knowledge and knowing is you don't always have to have the exact experience. Experiences have this ability to cross over, and doesn't have to be an exact experience for a person to have a knowledge and an understanding. It would have to be an exact experience almost to be empathetic, but that's not even the case, because if you spend a lot of time building that, you will be an empathetic person, not just a sympathetic person. So, it all depends on how much time one spends with the awareness of oneself. And that, in all the chakras, but when you're here in 3, it's still down here in the walking place, So if you're unstable down there, this isn't going to be as strong as you want. It just won't happen. Let me see if I can find something I had in my notes. Joan, you had called it the fire belly.
Well, yeah, it said something about people. Sometimes you'll hear them say they have a fire in their belly about something.
And what does that mean to what
Well,
does
like
that mean?
if someone has something like
What are they going to do with that fire with the belly?
That's the part. That's the thing. What are they going to do with it?
So you have to
It's
activate
something,
it.
right?
You don't have heart.
It's like it's like exactly. But sometimes people will say they have they'll have a fire in their belly about wanting to do something, wanting to start something. But then they need to activate that.
And so how do you get to the next step?
You have to take that chance. You have to take that leap of faith.
Where's that energy going to come from?
It's got to come from 3.
Well, you want it to come from yourself. If you need
Well,
a bunch
yeah,
of
but
people around you to tell you how great you are, well, then you probably have to go down to 1 and start rebuilding yourself and say, wow, I should be able to do that for myself, right? Of course, we all like to be congratulated for things that we've done, but, that ability to, feel good about yourself for your own accomplishments is a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
Because if you have to depend upon another to give you that, you may starve. So, all right, so the chakra 3, and I'll just do it quickly. So a person who has chakra 3 is generally dealing with, weak area there would be fear, as I said. Now, the biggest fear, one of them in chakra 3, is rejection. I'm not going to do that because I'll be rejected. They won't pick me. and I'll feel, stay here, and I'll feel even worse too. And when I feel even worse, so the energy's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna pull me down, and I'm not gonna even feel, my value now is really diminished. So fear stops someone from doing something that may be a huge blessing, but they can't get past the fear. A lot of times someone will pre-reject a person because they're afraid of rejection. Well, I'm gonna leave that woman before she leaves me, see, because I'm not gonna be the one that gets rejected. I don't wanna be rejected. So I'll reject that person.
Right.
Fear of aging. Boy, I'm really afraid of getting old. What's gonna happen when I get old, you know? Yeah. I don't wanna get old, and so, you know, it almost brings that on. You know, that fear is a negative energy force. You know, usually it is. It's the false evidence appearing real. On some occasions, it's real. But the ability to know what's real fear and what's not is kind of one of the tools that the controllers of the population use to subjugate the masses. Be afraid, you know. We want you to be afraid.
Yeah.
Fear of the physical appearance. I don't like the way I physically appear, and I don't think I feel good. I'm afraid. You know, I don't want to go out there because they're going to see what I look like, and then they'll reject me. Or if you smell, hey, you know, fear of I don't know. They cook with Indian food, and then when they perspire, or they cook with Chinese food, or they've got garlic in them, or they've got something in them. I don't know what it is, but it's something, and I'm not going near that because it makes me afraid. Fear, it's a weakness of the chakra 3. And I see my camera's giving me
Yes, it's good.
Oh, so that's a good sign that we're coming to the end of the show. And Joan's head is going down, so I'm coming up to the camera.
All right.
I've been using this alien tape, folks, and it's a great tape,
Better.
but unfortunately, with the humidity that we've been having of late, it's not even holding things.
Yeah,
Joan, I'm going to let you lead everybody out. Say
All right.
goodbye.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our show. And we will be back for Chakra 4, which is our heart chakra. I hope you enjoyed our show today. We love you. We miss you. Please join us for the next show.
All right, Joan. Thanks so much for that. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Some basil.
Bye.
Love ya.
Bye.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.